my speech. I think cap and trade. You know, one thing that government tends to do is they try to mandate progress, and it cannot happen at the pace that government would like to see it. I think cap and trade, and I mean, we all, I'm a farmer, you know, we all want to have clean air, clean water, or clean soils. I mean, those are so important for us, but at the same time, we have to be reasonable. We need to use some common sense, and we can't mandate things to happen when we are already in a recession. If cap and trade would pass, you would force utilities to increase their costs, which ends up, we would be the payer of that, and you increase the cost of the small businessman, you increase the cost of the family, the ratepayer, you increase the cost of business, and they're going to take those jobs at a point when they're already having to pay, you know, other costs. They're going to look somewhere else and start saying, hey, Mexico, they don't have the same sort of regulations that we do here in the United States, or China, they don't have the same regulations that we do here in the United States. We can go over there and do business cheaper rather than doing it here in the United States. And so technology will get us there. I mean, look where technology has brought healthcare. Look where technology has brought us in the automotive industry. You know, technology is coming along. We'll get there, but government shouldn't be the ones mandating that we clean scrubbers, that we go out and build. There was a facility down in southern Indiana where they spent billions of dollars to clean up their emissions. And again, you know, like I said, you know, part of that, we're going to be responsible. We are the most responsible country in the world. I mean, let's just agree that we are, because, you know, we are very sensitive, we are a compassionate people. But when you spend billions of dollars to clean up emissions and you don't provide 1 ounce or 1 kilowatt or any watt of energy more because of a government mandate, something again is wrong. There should be an incentive there. If people get there quicker than others, incentivize them, reward that, rather than punishing and mandating it. So I would not support cap and trade legislation.
The Employee Freedom of Choice Act, commonly referred to card check. What's your position there, Marlin?
I would oppose card check as well. I mean, if there's one thing that we have in this country that you know, is one of our basic rights, is that of a closed ballot, a secret ballot. If people are forced to vote in a situation where it's an open ballot and where someone else knows how they voted, that's not a free election in my mind. People then have the opportunity to intimidate. People have the opportunity to, you know, I have to say this. It was interesting with the I guess Chicago politics only has so much of a reach because they weren't able to affect the Olympic vote over in. There's a limit to Chicago politics. And I think that's one of the basic freedoms that we have in this country is a secret ballot.
The next item that we're interested in hearing from you about is immigration.
One of the basic responsibilities that our federal government has, first of all, national security, national defense. We need a strong national defense. Second of all is our borders. Enforce our borders. Protect our borders. That is what we depend on as states. We depend on our federal government to secure the borders. And, you know, with the whole immigration issue, it is a difficult issue. And one thing that we as taxpayers continue to do is to pay for the inaction of government. And government has not secured the borders. They haven't ratcheted down the incoming of illegal immigrants into this country. And so if we have amnesty, then we have problems because of amnesty. If we go out and we round them all up and we try to ship them out, who's going to pay for it? You and I are. We're going to pay for it to go out and to, pardon?
I'll pay.
Yeah. Good answer. Well, but
paying for all their health.
no, I agree. I'm with you. Let me finish. I think what we need to do is first of all, you stop the bleeding. You go and you secure the borders. You shut down places where people are crossing the border illegally. And then you put together a program that says either if you're caught and you're doing an illegal act, you're deported, which we did have that program and it was defunded. You send them back home if they're caught. And then you start a new process of saying you go back to the back of the line, you pay the penalties, you learn English so you can pass the test. And otherwise, I just have no idea, unless we could find some cost, what the cost would be to the taxpayer, because if you're going to go out and round everybody up, 12 million people, I mean, we'd have to see what that would cost. It would cost an astronomical amount, but I think there's ways to fix that problem, and then don't let federal government back off again at the borders. So somebody had some questions.
Buying GM out of this.
I'm sorry?
It can't cost much more than buying GM out of this.
And then they filed bankruptcy anyway, didn't they? Yes, sir.
It's one thing to protect the borders, but already our country has labeled our packaging two sides in Spanish, one side in English.
I know.
Now, I mean, I don't know where that is going, and I don't know where it is, but it doesn't stop the borders.
Yeah, I agree. You know, one thing that my family, I come from a German background, and in my family, I could go back 3 generations, they did not speak English consistently. And right around World War II, with the Nazi regime and everything going on in World War II, my family said if we're going to be a part of our community, we're going to speak English. And that was one of the bills that I actually filed 2 years ago in the House of Representatives, was to have English as the official language of the state of Indiana. But unfortunately, my friend Pat Bauer didn't give it a hearing. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get a chance to answer individual questions as soon as he's done. We're very concerned about your position on the Second Amendment. Marlon, what is your position on the Second Amendment?
I'm an NRA member. I am a full... The guy's got the hat in the back. I have been a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. As I said earlier, I was one of the authors of the lifetime handgun permit. I believe that is one of the fundamental rights. Again, our founding fathers knew there's a lifetime handgun permit right there. That's one of the basic rights, and our founding fathers understood the necessity of protecting the right to bear arms, not from the bear in the woods, but from their own government. And I think that's what people need to, again, we need to realize that. And you know, one thing that I think is so important, that we teach our kids how to respect and to handle a firearm. You know, we're kind of moving away from that. You know, the hunting is not as, you know, as popular as it used to be, but I think that, you know, we have to be careful, that we remember that we respect the firearm, we handle them with care, but we protect that right to bear arms.
Marlon, another concern of our group is your position on laws and initiatives such as DOMA.
Defensive Marriage Amendment.
Right.
Yes. Defensive Marriage Amendment. I'll just say very plainly, last year I carried the constitutional amendment here in the state of Indiana to protect marriage between a man and a woman. I think that is how God made us. I think that is how God is expected. I think that is what is the core of our family. Our family is the very fabric of our society, and we need to protect that. I mean, not every family is going to have that, but if we can encourage families to stay together, we'll have, you know, the children will be in a better environment, and so I think that it's so important we protect marriage between one man and one woman.
Amen. Another item that concerns us, recently there's been a hate crime bill passed. What do you think about the intention of that bill, and what's your position on it?
You know, we can never assume what a person does in their heart. We can only judge them by their actions, and we have had the hate crimes bill come up in the General Assembly several times. And I don't know if some of you know Representative Jackie Walorski here in Elkhart. She's one of my friends. And she and I, we had some fun with that one. We find amendments. We put amendments together that would kind of show the inequities of a hate crimes bill, because you can never judge a person from person to person in a crime, what was in their heart. You can only judge them by their actions. And so I have never supported hate crimes legislation. Crime is a crime, but at the same time, we as human beings cannot judge the hearts of why that crime was done. Obviously, all crimes are hate crimes. I mean, I don't think that we can't judge the heart of what the intention was.